Welcome back to another episode of the You Want It
You Got It
podcast.
yeah.
The OG Russ Attitude. That's what I'm going to call myself today because I don't need to say Mr. Smallhead, Big Hat Guy.
And I am smelling like a rose. I'm Eric Seven, the artist formerly known as Money and living in the city of good neighbors. Go Sabres. Let's do this. Let's wrap this shit up tonight. Send the boys from Beantown home.
I was in my head, I was mentally imagining me going, and then Trapjaw was going, bloop.
Oh.
If that would have happened, that would have been perfect, you know?
Oh, dude. Yeah, that would have been rad. Yeah.
So lots of stuff coming up next couple of weeks. Got a lot of busy schedule. I think we're booked up with guests until the middle of June, my friend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
we're staying busy. That's what we got to do, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Going to change it up a little bit, get a little heaviness in. Got some hardcore bands coming on. And we need to get some metal bands. We need some metal. We need some fucking metal. I don't care if it's thrash metal, metalcore, metal lunchboxes, aluminum metal cans. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got my lunchbox and I'm armed real well. You know, a little Marilyn Manson for you there.
Yeah.
Because Florida, they banned metal lunchboxes, and because people used to beat each other with them in fights. So that's why in Marilyn Manson's song it goes, "I got my lunchbox and I'm armed real well," because you got that lunchbox. Yeah.
Okay.
So anywho, that was my little lunchbox.
Yeah, if they would have just never mind. I'm not going to say that because that was bad. I'm not going to go forward with what I was going to say.
Well, it wasn't Marilyn Manson beating up people. It's the state of Florida because the kids were beating each other up at school.
Well, I mean, the state of Florida needs a fucking lobotomy. So.
Yeah, well, that was before that. I mean, hell, California, we were in the same boat too. I mean, the late 80s, man, people were doing crazy shit back then,
Yeah.
When did we go to plastic lunchboxes? Late 80s, early 90s?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I stopped using a lunchbox
about last week.
Yeah.
Hey, do you bring your lunch to work?
Oh yeah.
Do you brown bag it or you got like a thermos type lunchbox thingy?
I got like one of those collapsible type lunch bags. Yeah, for sure.
Bro, you might as well just fucking wipe out that damn lunchbox.
I know, right?
Well, talking about lunchbox, do you have a lunchbox?
I do have a lunchbox.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I like lunchboxes, and you know what I like more than anything is mystery items out of a lunchbox.
Mystery, cool shit.
I can smell it.
A metal lunchbox. Let's see. What are we going to pull out of the lunchbox today?
I don't know.
What do we got in here?
Did you forget the combination?
No. Let's see. Ooh,
I like that sound. Get that one.
We got some swatches.
Bro, wait, you got more than one?
Yeah. This was my favorite one right here. This was called the jellyfish.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. It's like totally see-through. And then this one was just, totally 80s.
I need to look up on the old sites and see which I had two swatches.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any friends that had the giant ones on the wall?
No. But I remember seeing them in all the movies.
Damn, dude, you got 3 of them bitches?
Yeah.
You're like, no, I got 4, 5, 6. Now let me ask you a question. Did you have the cool piece that went across the guard so you wouldn't bash it up?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Why can't I get that for my fucking Apple Watch? Like, why
Dude,
can't I get one of those?
Do they not make them? I thought they did.
I'm gonna look it up because if so, I'm getting one for my Apple Watch.
Yeah. It's a must-have, dude.
For the last 3 years, I've been pretty good on my screen. Now that I say that, it's to be like shatter.
But yeah, dude, I would wear 2 on one wrist and then 1 on the other. I wore all 3 of them at the same time.
All right. Did you ever wear jelly bracelets?
Black ones.
Yeah. I used to wear the black and purple, black and red, black and blue, anything black with something, as long as it didn't have to show.
Yeah, I would usually steal them from, whoever I was dating, I'd just be like,
Oh,
here, give me
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so you were going through the same phase too, where the girls would make you like the weaved bracelets.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the friendship bracelets and shit.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah,
cool.
dude.
Matter of fact, if I could find one now, I'd rock one. You know what I'm saying? I need to add some on my wrist. I ain't got enough as it is, but
I'm selling some keychains and bracelets for college. Your mom goes to college.
I think what we need to do one day is we need to watch a movie,
right?
And then the next day we need to talk about that movie.
Dude, I'm fucking totally down.
That'd be fun. Like get like you, me, 2 other people, and we'll talk like about one movie for the whole episode.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool. So today's a little different. Today's episode has to do. We all know Kurt Cobain. We all know he passed away April 5th of 1994. But there's a lot of conspiracies, a lot of theories about who killed him. Did he kill himself? Blah, blah, blah. And I always like hearing those different kinds of stories about, especially Kurt Cobain, since he was a huge part of our life.
Sure.
We've all heard the JFK assassination theories.
Right.
We've all heard those growing up, and some current ones. And so we got Barry Donegan from the band Look What I Did.
Nice.
Great band. And he posts TikTok videos of different theories of Kurt Cobain's death, So I was like, you know what? I'd like to talk to Barry about it. I think we would have a great episode about this. And I mentioned to you and you're like, fuck yeah. So I'm like, this would be a great episode, just talking and figuring it out, and then see where it goes. Did you do a 7 with 7 with this one?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
And they have nothing to do with Kurt Cobain.
I have a question to ask you right now.
Okay.
On my Twitter, I follow a bunch of different music ones because, like, on Twitter, I strictly all my hair metal and 90s metal rock and all that shit. I follow. Anyway, somebody put up, would you choose Gish or Bleach? Both debut albums. No matter what, I'm always going Pumpkins.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I think I'm more of a fan of Gish for sure. Yeah.
I like everything up until Adore. The Machinist was actually really good. They got it was a little more heavier. And then that's when they kind of like had a break. The Pumpkins did, and then they released the Machinist 2 and gave that away for free. He was giving a lot of music away for free back in the day. But anyway, Kurt Cobain. We're going to talk to Barry about these theories. And we're going to get to the bottom of this because we're going to find out tonight on America's Most Wanted. I mean, on the You Want It, You Got It podcast.
The truth is out there.
And we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. You can't handle the truth.
You want it?
You got
it.
So, without further ado.
Eddie. Kurt Cobain's body was cremated on April 14th, 1994 at the Bleach Memorial Home in Seattle, just 6 days after he was discovered in the greenhouse. This rapid turnaround is a major point of contention for researchers because it effectively ended any possibility of a second independent autopsy or further forensic testing on the body. While the cremation itself was standard, carried out at a local funeral home, the circumstances surrounding it were anything but. Reports from those present, including Courtney Love, suggest that before the cremation, locks of Kurt's hair were being cut from his head to be kept as relics and given to friends, a move that further complicates the forensic integrity of the body. Additionally, there are long-standing claims of tension during the private viewing, with some suggesting that the haste to incinerate the remains was a deliberate attempt to neutralize physical evidence, such as the injection sites or the specific nature of the wound, before outside experts could intervene. When you consider the fact that the cremation occurred while the public was in a state of total shock, it paints a picture of a narrative being closed as quickly as possible. By the time the public vigil was over, the primary piece of evidence in the biggest mystery of the 1990s had already been reduced to ash, leaving researchers to rely on a police file that many, including forensic specialists like Brian Burnett, have spent years questioning. Now, taken all by itself, the cremation is not entirely unusual. A lot of people are cremated. But when you take in combination the fact that it was a suspicious death, it was a rapid decision to cremate. We don't really know if that was something that Kurt really wanted. We've got the element of all by itself, the cremation is not necessarily shady. You take in combination the fact that it was rapidly done along with destroying the suicide note, the divorce letter, along with destroying the greenhouse, along with the gun leaving the chain of custody, the police consulting Courtney Love on destroying evidence. It just seems to be a part of a bigger pattern of evidence destruction. Check out my series, Shadows of the Greenhouse, under the hashtag Shadows of the Greenhouse to find out about the 9 suspicious figures who were hanging around Kurt Cobain's property around the time that he was found dead. What do you guys think? Should they reopen the case?
What's up, Eric?
What's happening, my friend?
Who's this guy in the middle here doing like the jig?
We got Barry from Look What I Did. And he's going to tell us some interesting
sign language
facts via sign language tonight. So, yeah.
Wait. I know that one.
Oh,
I know that one.
Cancel. Yeah, when you be in it, like, yeah.
yeah. Welcome to the episode.
That one.
Nice.
That was in the 80s, man.
Yeah. I saw that like one too many times watching a Poison, music video and like running around the house. And my mom's like, Eric Nicholas, stop that. Yeah.
See, they ate pussy in the 80s and they need to bring that back because then women will have orgasms and they'll be happier and they won't be so angry. Boom! Bring back eating pussy, man. Bring it back.
So you got to bring back hair metal then, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, not entirely, but partially. Just enough for the pussy eating to start. Cunnilingus, the cunning linguists that they were.
And we're not even a minute and 30 seconds in.
We're coming in like Tyson, dog. This is a Tyson fight.
Yeah. So, before we get into what I want to talk about, I saw where you guys are playing a show in August.
Oh yeah, it's going to be legendary. If you're not there, you're literally fake old Nashville. That's just the reality of it.
I got to see the first Lowboy show back a couple months back up here in Clarksville, and it was phenomenal. They didn't lose. They haven't lost a step.
Lowboy, I feel like was kind of underrated just because they were from Clarksville and it was just a smaller town.
See, I say that about a lot of bands. Like us up here in Clarksville, it's like. We were part of the Nashville scene, but we weren't part of the Nashville scene because we weren't down there enough. You know what I'm saying? We didn't live down there and we weren't always at all the shows, hanging out with everybody. It's like we were like the redheaded stepchild up here in Clarksville, you know?
Yeah, because it takes you like pretty much a 2 or 3 extra hour investment to get to and from the show out here, you know, so you can't just do that left and right.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that, man. I used to bang that fucking drum for Freeloader because, we would play Lucy's record shop and, we'd take the stage and everybody would go outside and smoke because we weren't fucking local, It's like, come on, man. We're just 45 minutes up the road.
Nashville is the most jaded music industry town ever. And it's why Look What I Did is the way we are. Like the reason why we are like, we're overkill musically everywhere besides Nashville because you can't get a Nashville musician to pay attention to you. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're doing something that a musician would find interesting.
Oh yeah,
because everyone basically plays, and so you know what I mean? Like if you go and play, you want to my band is built to like make a Nashville crowd pay attention because that's just where I was raised. That's the only way you know what I mean. You get to the Midwest and people are like, wow, you didn't have to do all that. If you would have just played together at the same time, we would have been satisfied. You don't really see that.
Yeah. I wasn't ready for that on a Wednesday, but I thank you.
That's so much. It's so much music.
Yeah. I the last episode we did, some of the stories you were telling on those episodes were fucking wild. One, of course, getting your fucking head split open and fucking keep rocking back, and then your fucking scalp is just fucking separated from the fucking.
I still see the
scar.
There's a U in my forehead.
It's been 26 years on that one, but yeah, there's a U in my forehead still.
That's wild. Yeah, it's old times, man. So are you guys, is Look What I Did just back on a do it when we can kind of situation like before?
Not really. It's kind of heating up a little bit now. We're about to put a record out, and kind of like what we've been doing is like we go into a recording mode for like a few years. And then most of our shows are just like opportunities to go out and play those songs and work on them. Right. And then when we have an album out, we usually are like, playing like big, strong shows and trying to sell stuff again and promoting things and doing like band stuff. And we're about to really kind of steam up because we got this Post Everything record we've been working on for like about 5 years and it's about ready. So we'll probably start playing a little bit more. We might even play out in like, outside of Nashville a bit, like Clarksville and, maybe
you heard about the skate park we got up here now, right?
Yeah. I was kind of talking to them about some shows. I just got to finish talking to them. They sent me a form, man. Forms slow me down.
Oh no, not a form.
Yeah, a form, dude. I'm used to being like, Google me. I don't know. You know what I mean? I got hit up by them. That's the Queen City booking company. They used to book at the Coup, and that's where I used to book shows when I booked you guys there. Oh,
and,
yeah.
They hit me up and they're like, "Hey, would you want to do a show here? Book a show here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm gonna have to wait till after summer when I get back from California to focus on it. And if I do it, it's going to be bands that I've interviewed on the podcast. Makes sense, right? Just throw some bands on the show and, have a fun
Set
time.
One up. We'll come play it for sure.
For sure. Did you see Hidden Sixes are coming up here next week or the weekend?
No, I didn't know they're playing the skate park. No, I did see that. That was actually what pulled the trigger on me messaging the skate park. I was like, oh shit, I should go play that. Now that I think about it. And then they sent me a form, man, and I got lost in the form.
It's wild how nice this fucking skate park is, man. It's a beauty. It's wow, it's crazy. Like Clarksville has a nice indoor skate park. We have a new outdoor skate park that's about to get started getting built, which will be opened at the beginning of next year. So we got an indoor skate park, an outdoor skate park, fucking opening up now. It's gonna be great, man. I love it. I love the skate scene being so huge again in Clarksville. It's great.
Franklin kind of, I think, has that too. The counties are starting to have skate parks everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Not really Nashville.
Well, because Nashville always had skate parks, right?
Do we? Do we have them now? I guess it's just the city is a skate park, but
yeah, it's the city's my wonderland, right? Is
that
what the doctor says? So, but yeah, so Barry, I had kept seeing on the old TikTok, you always post your videos, you're always posting something, but what I've been seeing for damn near a year now, you always be posting these Kurt Cobain clips. And
yes,
you go so in depth, and it's like some of the stuff I've heard before, some of the stuff I haven't heard before, and now obviously more and more stuff keeps coming out over the years. Where were you on April 5th, 1994, when we all found out that Kurt Cobain died?
I was in my room at my parents' house, which was on Franklin Road at the time, the 4 Mile Toll House, it's called. And yeah, I shortly thereafter, because my dad was the Duke on 103.3 WKDF. If you're a Nashvilleian, you would know that's the rock station back then.
Nice.
On the morning drive show for like 15 years or something on there. So like growing up, my dad was the morning drive guy on the rock station in my city. So like Tom Grant, I was an early adopter on the internet. I was on bulletin boards in the 80s when I was 11. I got my computer took up because I did some computer crime. And then I was an early adopter. So I was on the internet really right then. And I was like looking for Nirvana, like bootlegs and stuff at that point. Cause you're not gonna get any more Nirvana at that point. And I ran into Tom Grant on some forums, and he found out about my dad's show, and he gave me all of his files. So I had the Tom Grant files, like by the time I was like, 17 at high school, just like sharing them at lunch with everybody. You know what I mean? Now I have a theory. I feel like there was a musical movement that happened under Kurt Cobain, where it was kind of like you had to be creative and unique to make pop music basically anymore. You couldn't just do generic shit that was overdone. And I feel like the second he died, it's like the music industry is like, oh, he's gone. We can go back to, and you know, like boy bands came back and all the bad stuff came back. And like the music industry has kind of never gotten back the way it was, where it was kind of like creativity is rewarded, right? Except for like maybe a new fad that comes out, but all the fads are retro from the time Kurt dies until now. I mean, even all the metal fads that came out, those were all retro. It was like, we're going to do straight edge metalcore, hardcore. That's already been out 15 years. We're going to do deathcore. Deathcore was in the late 80s. You know what I mean? They were basically just taking old genres and making them into a trend. But creativity basically died at that time. And that's why I think it's so important to prove the fact that he did not kill himself. He was murdered, because the killing himself kind of like, I think, bummed everybody on the whole movement, right? And it also caused a reimagination. Like most young people don't understand what Nirvana really was, because the lie that he killed himself makes you think it's a depressing, sad band. It never was. It was a sarcastic, smart-ass band with a smart, dark sense of humor that was like making fun of stuff satirically most of the time, right? But it's perceived as this sad. I mean, yes, there's some expression of his feelings, because he was listening to Rites of Spring, and you know, he was into like a little bit of the early emo, and he was influenced by that, and that was influencing the whole underground, including you know, Smashing Pumpkins was probably way more emotionally sensitive than it was when he was a hair metal guy 4 years earlier. It was just the movement in the underground was towards that. It wasn't like he was exceptionally depressed or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that narrative built on a couple of smart ass song titles he had and whatever, and like the people around him really kind of creating that narrative in the last 2 or 3 weeks leading up to his death, you know, which I think was intentional. But I feel like in order to get the music industry to go back to that moment, we have to prove that Kurt was murdered, so that people will understand that it doesn't lead to mental illness and death for people to be creative and for rock stars to be opinionated again. Because really, you think about it, when Kurt died, aside from the like, I got raped by my dad music, which was a lot of the popular nu metal, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
We didn't have any more rock ever again that was like, you know, like Kurt would have eventually grown into probably writing some songs about sex with women or something like later. He's the kind of person that he wasn't going to do that at 27, but maybe at 45 he would have. You know what I mean? He could have given permission to some other things, trends, or shown that he was responding to an you know, like the 80s were overblown with the hypersexual shit, and he was moving away from that because it was overblown. That didn't mean we need to move away from it in rock forever. That's why rock is unpopular now. You know what I mean? We don't have any songs about ass, and rap and pop have songs entirely about ass. So like women like songs about ass. You're not going to get women out to the shows. And if women aren't out to the shows, no one's coming to the shows. A lot of that is a downstream effect of Kurt being the suicide party pooper, when he's probably not. You know what I mean? He's probably a person who got murdered. And you know what I mean? So that's why I think that one's important to prove for the future and health of rock. And also because it's probably a fact. And the suspects are probably at large. They might have done some stuff again. You know what I mean? Courtney has done a lot of things again. She has a rap sheet that's crazy at this point. But, you know, that's just kind of why I think that's philosophically one reason why I'm just attacking that point day and night. I don't know why I believe that, but I don't know. I got these hunches, man.
Obviously I've heard, you know, over the years, I've heard the basic ones, you know, how much heroin was in his body when he died. And they were, you know, they'd said it was so much heroin and it was in his body that he wouldn't be functional to, one, lift a gun, let alone pull the trigger on a gun. And of course, you know, you hear how the gun was laying, or how the shells were on the ground, and all these different pieces. And then of course, you know, was he barricaded from the inside in or from the outside in?
Well, it wasn't really barricaded in. He was locked in. He was locked in by a doorknob that you're able to like click the lock on your way out and lock it.
Gotcha.
In, right? So that doesn't mean anything. And I mean, there is an element of, you could piece together a narrative of how he died. It would be where he killed himself. It would just be such a specific, narrow, unlikely, difficult thing. First of all, that amount of heroin, they say like, oh, he's got a crazy tolerance. He was a really rich rock star. He'd been doing heroin a long time, which first of all, I would say he hadn't been doing heroin that long. He'd been only doing it since Nevermind came out, and this is 2.5 years. And when he's on tour with Nirvana, he can't get it unless somebody comes to the show and offers it to him, which is hard to do because the band's trying to shield him from it. So he was usually clean when he would go like on tour with Nirvana, unless they were on tour with like Alice in Chains or somebody who was also on drugs, which is not that often. They only played like 4 or 5 shows with them. So like he didn't have that much access to heroin. He's also 120 pounds. He's the weight of a girl. And on top of that, you know, you set aside all that, the amount of heroin would have required multiple needles. That's the thing. You have to cook it up, inject the needle, recook it, inject the needle, recook it, inject the needle, all the while this is kicking in. And they're just saying, like, no matter how, I've seen so many forensic experts say this, that just no matter how tolerant you are, you might survive that, but you're not going to be coherent and responsive and able to then, you know, he put the caps back on the needles. The gun was extremely long and difficult to operate. And Kurt is a gun guy who would know what gun to get. You know what I mean? He would know to get just a pistol and shoot yourself. He knows better than to get birdshot. And also the birdshot receipt was on the 2nd, right? So the theory is he buys the gun and ammo, which we only know that Dylan Carlson had gun and ammo. Before he goes to rehab in LA, he gets the shells taken up before he gets to the airport because he accidentally has them on him. So he doesn't have the shells, right? So the shells are bought on the 2nd. So if Kurt bought the shells, that means he came home. According to the police, he would have died on the 5th. So that means he would have bought the shells on the 2nd and then waited till the 5th. Like, we would really have to believe, because he also called the police on the 2nd, because when he got home, his car's tires were slashed, which was done by Courtney, but he did not know that. So he calls the police and the police come out. They don't ever mention to anyone that he called them and came out when they're doing the death investigation, right? They completely take that out of it because it doesn't really fit. And then that's supposedly when the shotgun shells were purchased, which I think they were purchased by, I think he comes home on the 2nd. He sees the car tire slash. He calls the police. He has the confrontation with everyone. That's the day they kill him. And I think Dylan went to go get the shotgun shells because he starts thinking like, oh shit, we might have to kill Kurt today or something. You know, that's part of the plan. Is probably hatching that. That's what I believe. Now, their argument would be that Kurt went and bought those shells, comes back to the house, and then 3 days later kills himself. So he would have had to legitimately buy the shells because he was afraid of whatever caused the tires to be slashed, because he didn't know it was actually done by Courtney. So he's thinking an intruder has broken into his house. And so he gets shotgun shells, and then 3 days later, he spontaneously kills himself, unrelated. That would be the way it would have to happen. And it would have to happen in a way where he did a lot of wild shit in the room. First of all, there was no lights. The lights weren't working in the greenhouse. So unless this happened at broad daylight, and then the people in the house have to explain why they didn't respond to a massive loud shotgun blast in a glass room, literally 10 feet away, which they would have it would have made your hearing go out if you're that close, even in the middle of the night. So you probably would have got woke up. But the fact that there's no reports during the day suggests it was probably at night. And then if it's at night, that room has zero light at all. The only light he's going to have is going to be from his lighter. The light didn't even work, and the light was off when the electrician came in, right? The electrician came in broad daylight and couldn't see in there because it's like in a greenhouse surrounded by trees and there was no light on. And the police came and the light was switched on, but it wasn't working, right? So at that point, it's probably the case that the light didn't even work. So the light didn't even work in the room he was in, right? And then you have the forensics that the blood, like, first of all, there's very little blood, which is bizarre. If you take a shotgun and put it in your soft pallet and blast, there's going to be goop going down the gun. It's going to be blown out the back. There's going to be blood leaking everywhere. But if you go in there unresponsive and dead already, and then somebody shoots you, he had like dripping blood in his crotch, like he was slumped forward to his crotch, right? So the blood's all over his crotch, and that's the one place that you found blood. You don't find any down in the gun. They said the gun looks professionally cleaned, right? So that for this to happen, he has to be like getting himself so high that he basically dies and somehow pulls the trigger as he's dying, is basically what would have to happen, because he had like organ failure in multiple organs already by the time he was shot, which you can prove in the current available forensics. So yeah, I mean, the narrative they pulled together where it's possible is just, it's possible, but man, it would require a lot of magic variables just being perfectly. It would require Kurt doing it in the dark and just somehow doing it maybe with a lighter. I don't know. You know what I mean? Put the caps back on, putting it neatly away.
Yeah. So it was April 8th is when the news broke that his death, because that's when the electrician found him. And then the way that they did the autopsy, whatever, they were like, it was probably Easter Sunday is when he died, right? That's what they were saying. It was probably Easter Sunday the 5th. Was like Easter Sunday. Was that whatever?
I think the 5th wasn't Easter Sunday. I think the Easter Sunday was the 2nd or the 3rd. I think it was the 2nd going into the 3rd. And I do think that's when he was killed, but that's more the murder version, is that he would be killed on that day. The police version is he's killed on the 5th. So he would have had to have bought those shotgun shells and kept them for several days. You know what I mean? He would, under the police narrative, he would have had to have killed himself, not because he intended to and was building a plan, but because it was spontaneous and it was like after he bought the shotgun. Because you wouldn't go and prepare a suicide several days early and then not do any other things to prepare besides get the book. You know what I mean? He wasn't like going around saying sorry to people, or, I mean, if that was a suicide note, it was hastily put together and lacked mentioning his mom or grandma or any normal things you would say. You know what I mean? Like, or mentioning his entire life that he'd had ever once. His granddad Leland he liked, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't mention him at all.
Well, what, like, I'm sure you've heard too, but it's like they say that suicide, that quote unquote suicide note wasn't really a suicide note, that it was maybe his way of saying, look, that he was going to leave the music world, leave Courtney, and then somebody added the bottom part to make it look like a suicide note. Is that
right? And Courtney's attorney, Rosemary Carroll, told Tom Grant before Courtney got a hold of her and got her to turn to her side, that she found a practice sheet with those exact letters in Courtney's backpack, and that she thought that that part was written by Courtney. You know what I mean? That and part of it was, and then she flipped and went back and denies all that, but it's on audio. Like, I'll probably make a post out of that one. There's like literally Rosemary Carroll on audio. And then she tells Tom, like, "Oh, are you recording me? Oh, you shouldn't have recorded me, Tom, blah, blah, blah." You know what I mean? But it's like, but you said it, you know what I mean? Like,
and then, well, I can't remember. This is just me remembering certain parts. So their bedroom, they like the detectives came in, wiped the whole bedroom out, and supposedly they missed some letters that Courtney said were underneath her pillow, right? Is that correct? Was there something like that?
Police did not check her room. Okay. Police didn't really check the house in that sense. They did minor checks to they dusted for prints and found none in the greenhouse. So it was, and then took pictures, and yeah, they didn't significantly do investigation at the house. Now, Tom Grant did check all those places where Courtney Love said there was a divorce letter that Kurt had left her under her pillow in her bedroom, right? That's Tom Grant had checked and it wasn't there. So that's a lie. That wasn't where he gave that to her in Rome. That's the Rome note, is the divorce letter. She's trying to say Rome was a suicide note because I think Kurt survived the Rome attempt at a murder. And once he survived, she had to switch gears and say it was an accident because Kurt would have remembered killing himself. Well, except for he was on roofies. But you wouldn't kill yourself with roofies. That doesn't even work. That's why he didn't die. But she just kept giving him too many roofies, and he was forgetting, how many roofies he previously had because you're drinking and taking roofies.
And that was when he got treated for OD, correct? And when he was in Rome, yeah. Okay.
Like, you have to understand the way he would have OD'd on these, and she said she saw him taking them like Pac-Man. So she was watching him take them. She said that. And he took 30 out of a blister pack. So if you're watching someone take 30 out of a blister pack, you would just stop them, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what she described. She described seeing him eat them like Pac-Man, and then he's unresponsive in the morning. It's like, well, yeah, because you kept giving him, he's probably like, "Ooh, baby," and she's like, "Oh, you want to have another?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah." And he's like on roofies and drinking, so he has no idea how many he's took. And he's the kind of guy who's already kind of like an experimenter with drugs. And I think then he's unresponsive, and she thinks, "Oh, I've killed him." I'm going to say he committed suicide, because she called her inner circle and told everyone that he had committed suicide. And then they, you know, from that point, they come, he's unresponsive. They take him to the hospital and they revive him because he wasn't actually dead. So like she, you know what I'm saying? She thought he was dead, and she was already dressed and ready when the police got there. You know what I'm saying? Like fully made up in the morning, right? She said this supposedly happened overnight. Like, honestly, I think he was just continuing to take those, and then he passed out, and then she just left him passed out and thought, like, I'll just let him die overnight. I'll say I'm asleep. I'm pretending to be asleep. And then in the morning she wakes up and she says, oh no, he's unresponsive, and calls, you know. And then at the hospital, she moves him from the Italian hospital to an American hospital against doctor's orders. They say it could kill him to move him, and she does it anyway. You know what I mean? It was like she was trying to, like, and that's why I think they added the shotgun to the heroin this time, because I don't know if they trust an unresponsive looking on drugs Kurt. They might have to finish the deal. Or they also may have, supposedly Joe Burns, the alleged eyewitness of the confrontation, which is a new feature to this storyline, says that he was hit in the head by Mark Lanigan with an object. And so therefore the shotgun may have been an improvised thing that they added to get the, like, it's possible that Dylan went to get the shells because Kurt was worried about the break-in. And then now that they got shells, he's like, shit, let's go get the shotgun because we've hit him in the head now. And we're not going to be able to explain a suicide with a head wound. You know, so if we shoot him in the head, it'll cover the head wound up, and then he'll be, you know. Now, these are all speculative. I'm speculating, right, with the different facts, like the possibilities. I also think it could be possible Courtney didn't know these people killed him.
That's just true.
Because she was telling Tom Grant, like, if I can pay you anything, but if I get divorced, I won't be able to pay you anything. What if he's telling all of her staff that, and some of her staff are like, you know, resentful of Kurt anyway. And then, like, they're thinking, like, shit, I'm going to run out of money for these drugs. I better just murk him and not tell Courtney. And then she can have deniability. She probably wants us to do that anyway. You know what I mean? And then, then maybe she didn't have any idea. And then she's just completely blissfully unaware. Because I could see her being the kind of, like, she's normally a person that encourages them to commit crimes for her and things like that. And so maybe they're like, oh, let's read between the lines. And you know what I mean? So I leave open the possibility that there was a homicide and Courtney wasn't involved and is just so unhinged that she, but I don't know, now that she's admitting that she was an MK Ultra asset, you know, and that stuff's becoming more real. That's weird too, because she was weirdly dating every rock star at once at the time she met Kurt. She went on tour with Marilyn Manson and was dating Twiggy Ramirez. Then she starts fucking Trent Reznor on that tour. And then somehow she's with Billy Corgan. And then suddenly she's with Kurt Cobain. Like, this is every A-tier rock star at once. And she's not really like the finest girl ever. You know what I mean? She's obviously on some kind of programming that's like zeroes in on major rock stars. And she always bragged to an ex-husband that she was eventually going to kill a rock star and make them into a god. I mean, this was something she talked about before it happened. You know, maybe it didn't happen, but it's weird to talk about that. And then that actually happened to your husband. You know what I'm saying? But this is stuff, you know, I mean, when you talk about that, you throw yourself in the conspiracy world, but her dad literally did and said he put her in the Haight-Ashbury Clinic, and they did run this program where they exposed the young babies to LSD and violent images. And it makes so much more sense how crazy Courtney is. That makes more sense than just she's born and she's a regular person. You know what I mean? Because she is so unusually unhinged. Like, she beat a fan in the head with the metal, you know, mic stand base. Like, she just decked Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill the first time she ever met her, off rip, right? I mean, she's really unusually violent for anyone, but a woman, really unusually violent. You know what I mean? Like, go back and watch sometime Kim Gordon talking about the time, first day of Lollapalooza, they're on the tour together with Bikini Kill and Hole and stuff, and she comes out there and just decks Kathleen Hanna, I think it was, or yeah, I think it was Kathleen Hanna. Yeah. And I mean, she got serious criminal charges for that one. I mean, it was a sucker punch. Like, I think she got knocked out. Courtney's kind of big. She's like 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
So Courtney, I didn't realize. So the father that quote unquote says she like, he said that she probably did do it or whatever. Is that the same father that's the father that was giving her the LSD when she was a kid?
Yeah, Hank Harrison. Well, wasn't giving it to her, but he took her. Well, he was alleged to have given it to her, but he says he took her to that clinic and they gave it to her.
And yeah.
But I mean, he probably knew that they were doing that stuff there.
Yeah, because I heard her talking about that on Billy Corgan's podcast.
Like she crosses into the Epstein. Like this is how the Epsteins begin. The Epstein stuff and the MK Ultra stuff, where you give babies like just experimenting on little kids and babies, is like a thing that those levels, like some of the people within the intelligence services and whatever. We've seen it with MK Ultra. We've seen it with Epstein now. And she was in Epstein's black book, as a preferred contact with the circle around it, just like the co-conspirators or some of the other people that had circles around it, right? And she's alleged to have been a sex worker as a kid in her teens. She said she was a part of what she called the white slave trade in China, right? And so she was a sex worker. And then the sort of open secret about her is that she provided drugs and girls to people in the industry above her to level herself up in the industry, right? And she often got people hooked on drugs, which she could then get for them. And she was the only person they knew to get the drugs, so that she could control them. She even did this to her own daughter. That's in court documents. You know what I mean? To try and control her daughter, because at a certain point, her daughter got control of all the Nirvana money instead of her. And so she started trying to like control her daughter. And that's when Wendy Cobain and Frances Bean were no longer cool with Courtney at a certain point. You know what I mean? Because of that kind of stuff.
Now, I mean, so as far as like the Cobain estate, like Kurt's estate, like does Frances own the whole damn estate? Damn near.
Not all of it, but a lot. Like a lot, most of it.
Is Kurt's mom still around?
No, she passed away somewhat recently.
Yeah, I've heard the stories about, it's crazy because Frances she's been quiet, all these years. And then all of a sudden, you hear a little bit about her here and there, but then she fucking marries Riley Hawk, Tony Hawk's kid, has a baby with him. And now she's like, everyone sees her everywhere now. Now she's everywhere. But,
also notice Courtney doesn't talk about that grandchild.
No,
ever.
Nope. I noticed that as well.
You would be all over the internet. Like, imagine yourself. I mean, I'm a parent, right? But imagine if you are the grandparent of something like that, where it's Tony Hawk and Kurt Cobain's bloodline together, infused into one, like, sort of weird extreme sports concert. Fucking bloodline from the 90s. It's like an elite tier. Everyone in the world's gonna be interested to see what those genetics produce. Right. And you're just sitting here not even talking about it. Like, I'd be all talking about only that. I'd be primarily talking about that if I was her, because she's on the fucking Epstein files and she needs to reinvent herself. You know what I mean? Before this album comes out. But yeah, it's weird she doesn't talk about her granddaughter or her grandson. Hardly ever.
Kurt Cobain had a skateboard that had like Iron Maiden drew on it. Like he drew Iron Maiden or whatnot. And then Tony Hawk had that pressed up, like he had them remade into decks and made the same deck that Kurt Cobain had. Tony Hawk made these like years back, and he only made
that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't know about it till it was too late, but it was the exact same, because apparently, Kurt drew really well, because he drew like on the Melvins van. He drew all the artwork on the Melvins van. When he used to fucking go on road with them, he drew like Kiss on there and stuff. But
yeah, he was a multimodal artist.
Yeah,
for sure.
I bet. I mean, I wish that I wish I could have seen them, early on in their career. Obviously, I got to see them right beforehand in Cali.
You saw Nirvana?
Yeah, 93.
That's crazy. I never got to see it. They didn't really come to Nashville, I don't think, maybe ever.
Yeah. What do you know about that, Eric? You think they came to Nashville?
I don't think so. Yeah, because I was gonna go see them at Lollapalooza, and it would have been 94.
That's when we would have got to see it, because that's what you know what I mean.
Yep.
They hadn't marked it, man. We could have seen it, but because my dad was the radio DJ, I would have definitely gotten free tickets. And
I mean, I still had friends that still went. But I was like, well, Nirvana's not going to play, and I'm just going to stay home. And
I did go to that Lollapalooza myself, but it was extremely sick.
Yeah.
That was the first time I saw, like, was that the one? Not that was the one with 9 Inch Nails. That was the one right after, right? With Alice in Chains was on it.
No, that I think the one in '94 that Nirvana was supposed to play, that was like Beasties, A Tribe Called Quest, I think Sonic Youth, maybe the Pumpkins.
Yeah, I did go to that one.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, yeah. Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's interesting that this whole Cobain thing. I mean, it's gonna be one of those things that's gonna be talked about forever and ever and ever, and then
it may get solved. I have a belief, and we'll see. If so, we'll have to come back to this one. It'll be super viral if I'm correct.
Yeah,
but
you heard it here first. That very
Courtney will admit it.
You think?
Directly or indirectly. It'll be kind of like, I think Mark Lanigan already did, and I think Courtney will, because I think both Mark Lanigan and Courtney do not want to experience going into obscurity without having their proper artistic level of, like, Courtney is much more significant artistically as an artist if she's a Black widow than if she's just a regular widow. You know what I mean? Like, if she's a Black widow, her music may outlive Nirvana's in terms of 500 years from now, because she'll become like a really interesting character, like more than Kurt probably. You know what I mean? Like, Kurt didn't murder anyone. Like, you know, like Kurt's suicide actually makes him more interesting, right? Like historically, right? For like, I say that not in a, you know, that's like in a historical sense, right? In a historical sense, you're more interesting the more murdery or suicide-y, or the more like tragic or something your deal is. And I think Courtney Love's music will matter more if she's the Black widow. And I think she knows that. She knows that that's who she is, and that's her brand. And that's why I think she's starting to talk about the MK Ultra stuff, because I think she doesn't want to go down in history not as that, if that's what she is, right? So it's just got to be close enough to death that she doesn't have to like possibly go to jail. And she's already getting to, she's not that old. She's only in her 60s, but she looks like she's in her 80s.
Bro, all that work that she's had done, holy shit.
I think they're just trying to cover up the effects of the crystal meth, like fucking with her hydration in her nervous system, because she's getting real twitchy and real kind of jerky. And like, I just feel like the drugs are piling up on her, and her age is kind of wearing on her. And I feel like if she feels like she's close to the end of her life, she will probably admit it indirectly. Yeah.
Well,
we'll see.
Now, Mark Lanigan's death. Now, they never really came upon how he, like, they still don't know how he died, right? Did they know how he died?
Oh, he died of COVID.
COVID. Okay.
His death was, but I think he was like knowing he was going to die. Probably when COVID came out, he's probably like, I'm about to die of this. I'm not healthy enough to make it through this. I've been living wrong. You know, and that's like the last album is just full of stuff that seems like confessions that he killed Kurt. You know, it's got like that Sunday 2:32 a.m. lyric. That's probably when Kurt was killed, according to a lot of people think. There's just like that song to DRC, Dylan Carlson, you know, thank you for never ratting out all the horrible things we've done together, and we're lucky to be alive. And, you know what I mean? That's like kind of what that song's about. And then there's just so many like confessional, sounds like you killed somebody songs in that last album. And then like, I think people are really sympathetic to Mark Lanigan. I mean, I am. I think he's one of, you know, I covered Ugly Sunday when I was 16 on a 4-track. I still have that tape somewhere. I need to dig it up. It's real interesting right now. But like, it's in my room. But Mark Lanigan, my name is Barry Donegan. I'm an Irish American motherfucker too, with practically the same last name. You know what I mean? I really identified with him a lot. He's one of my favorite vocalists for sure. I mean, he's still one of my favorite vocalists because I separate the art and the artist. But when people are like, they've listened to his maybe spoken word and they've read his book and they've listened to his music, they get really sympathetic to him. But you tend to forget what's happening in the book. His book is full of him being a violent maniac for drugs. You know what I mean? He's committing home invasion robberies. He's strong arm robbing people. He's strong arm robbed Kurt and Dylan all the time. According to his own admission, he said he charged them taxes just because he's like 6'3" and jacked. You know what I mean? Wow. He played football in high school. People don't realize he's a big ass dude who has a temper problem, who uses his temper and anger to control people. And he talks about it all through his book. He just says it in such a beautifully poetic way, and you're mesmerized by his tone of voice. that you don't realize it's like literally a rap sheet he's describing. You know what I mean? It's like a book is just loaded with crimes. Like I did a post about it where I just like listed them, the like violent crimes too. Like he talks about going outside of a show, feeling in a bad mood, just seeing like a guy in an alley and just beating the shit out of him until he's just unconscious. This is like a random guy. I mean, he could be lying about all that shit, but even if he's lying about that, he wants to portray himself as this level of violent.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if a lot of people are really don't feel comfortable with accusing Mark Lanegan of anything. I think because they're just so sympathetic to him as an artist. And two things can be true. He can be one of the best singers, spoken word, writers, poets, and be a fucking murderer. That is historically more common than the other way around. You know what I mean? Like people who are really artistic are often crazy as hell. And he's a drug addict. So not to, you know, shit on everybody who's had addiction problems, but he's like an active, never got over it guy who committed violent crimes his whole life to fund his addiction. You know what I mean? And also Lane Staley was his best friend too. And he mysteriously died. That's another thing. Mark Lanegan was weirdly close with Kurt and Lane when you consider that they were at the peak moments in their career and he was not friends with them from back in the day. He's a guy who met them at shows. Think about that yourself. Like think about your own friends that have blown up, right? Your own friends of bands that have blown up. You and me, if we're still friends with those guys, it's largely because we didn't try to impose ourselves in the moment that they're being blown up, right? Like if you're in the middle of being blown up, you got Ozzy on your phone, you got blah, blah, blah. So if anyone is like in your circle at that point, they are desperately trying to stay in your circle and they're like treating it like a job or something. And that's real, to me, is shady as hell. You know what I mean? Like if you're my friend and your band blows up and you're on tour and you're at New York on Saturday Night Live, I'm going to leave your phone alone for a little while to let you get shit organized, just as a friend. You know what I mean? That's the way I would be as a friend. Mark Lanegan seems like he's like, ooh, I met a rich rock star in the scene. And yeah, he's cool and we get along. I'm going to find a way to be at his fucking house literally every day and use his money for drugs. It seems to be, you know, and then they all die except him. I mean, he dies eventually, but 30 years later. You know what I mean? It's like, are they all dying and you're just this tragic figure in the middle of all this death? Or are you helping kill people or killing people or using, you know, getting people further addicted to drugs to help you get more drugs? I mean, yeah, it seemed like something along those lines. And Lane is connected to him too. I'm not saying that Lane's death was mysterious. There's not really anyone saying that. But it's just where there's Mark Lanegan, there's dead rock stars laying around everywhere. You know what I mean? Fuck. Just saying.
Well, I was looking at some of your other videos. I just wrote down little bits and pieces of about some of the videos. Who was Alan Wrench?
Alan Wrench is not an identified person that anyone knows who it is. It was a person that was accused by El Duce from the Mentors.
El Duce, and he was, and Courtney offered him what, like $55,000 or something.
50,000. Courtney allegedly, according to a guy with an Armenian name that I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was an Armenian name, and he was a club owner in LA, which checks out. He was the owner of the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, right.
Right. And so he comes out and he hears this exchange himself. So and he passed a polygraph. But he said that Courtney pulls up, is like, hey, I'm having problems with my old man. Would you kill him for 50,000 to El Duce? And El Duce is like, fuck off, blah, 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 whatever. And then he later on says that a guy named Alan Wrench actually took the job. But Alan Wrench is not an identified person. There's some kind of kill Alan Wrench thing that was going or whatever, but it's not like an identified person. So they don't really know who that was or who it's supposed to be. Some people claim it's like this guy, Danny Clint Rich, confessed to flying Courtney Love to Seattle in a private jet so that she could sneak up and oversee the death of Kurt Cobain and then sneak back and maintain her alibi. That's what he claimed. But the nature of how he claimed it was really suspicious. He kept going back and forth about whether he was claiming to do it or not. And then he finally did admit it and then died the fucking following day. So there's that. But some people have said he's Alan Wrench. I don't really believe this guy
exists.
Well, I don't know. Alan Wrench could exist.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anyone has any idea who it is. And then like the Danny Clint Rich guy, there's something with that. It's weird. He's seen there on the day of, and his original story of how he was on the scene was so shady that nobody believed it. And then he came out with the confession. And the confession didn't really sound believable either. So it's like, and then he dies. So that guy's an interesting one. I mean, he could totally be telling the truth. It could be the case that he lied at first and then flipped and told the truth and then died, and then nobody really believed it that much. But it's coming, as of right now, it's not standing as one of the more credible things. Most of the researchers are not taking him that seriously, whether that's good or bad.
Now, I know this was 30 years ago. So is there any current detectives that are working for Seattle Police Department that are still there that were around during that case?
No, not really.
No.
Now, there's a guy, Neil Lowe, who did work on the 2014 review of the case, who doesn't work there anymore, but he's turned flipped and he's like fully supports a reinvestigation, thinks there was probably a homicide. He doesn't believe and he's part of it is he's going inside and proving that the chain of custody on the evidence was bad, and that he said that when he reviewed the case, he didn't even review it because he was just like, oh yeah, everybody knows this is a homicide. And then he looked back afterwards, later on, he's like, whoa, hold the hell up. I completely should have reviewed this because this is like really shady. He said that Kurt's mom, which was Courtney called Tom Grant. Courtney tells Tom Grant on audio tape that she called and pretended to be Kurt's mom and got them to look for him as a suicide, right? And then this biased the police investigators that the second they got to the house and saw him shot, they just told the media it was a suicide before the medical examiner arrived. That's the lead detective. So the lead detective had already committed to that. And the lead detective was a friend of Courtney's who advised her to destroy evidence, like the divorce. I think he was advising her to destroy evidence after they'd already committed to something. And he just sort of probably told himself like, she probably didn't do it. So I'm just going to start coaching her to do stuff that will help us not look bad, because we kind of rushed on this one and we didn't really investigate. And so I think there he starts going into like avoiding doing anything mode because of he's already committed to that. And kind of implicitly everyone all the way down is probably doing the same thing because they know that would make him look bad. And then you have the Harshthorne, the medical examiner assistant, who's the one that actually did the work on the medical examination of this, and with Kristen Pfaff, was in a band with Courtney Love's ex-husband and was really good friends with Courtney Love and was like a big member of the scene, right? And so that's the person who gave them the ability to do a cremation. That's the person who that's the person who decided that that Kurt was a suicide and Kristen Pfaff was an accidental overdose. And, we now know that wasn't really based on evidence, but probably more so. Now, he also died in a base jumping accident. I don't know if that's related, but he died young, as did a lot of people related to this case. Now, granted, there are a lot of people that are drug using people from the scene, and maybe that's part of it, but I don't know. I've been in the scene myself. I'm 47 and I don't have that many early deaths going on around me. You know what I mean? Like I know a lot of people with drug problems, and it takes a while for everybody to get killed off. You know what I mean? And at this point in their 20s, everybody's dying. So it's a little weird, but yeah, that whole investigation they committed to it so early that, you know what I mean? I think that's what the problem was. That's what Neil Lowe said, the cop. I mean, he's flipped.
Tom Grant, though, he doesn't think it was a suicide, correct? He doesn't.
No, he thinks it's a homicide.
Now, is he still around, Tom Grant?
Yeah, Tom Grant's still rolling. Yeah. He's still out there.
Did you read his book at all?
I haven't read his book. I've read his files, but I don't necessarily. I try to stay neutral on. Like, I don't really believe his theories because part of the problem is he knows the people. He like hung out with Mark Lanigan and Dylan while this was happening. So he extremely believes Dylan and Mark Lanigan have nothing to do with it because he was with them a lot of the time. But he was also there to create an alibi. That's something he believes. So then, of course, the people that would do it would be the most around you. If you're, you know what I mean? If you're, I don't know. To me, I feel like he has some blind spots because of his closeness to the case. And I don't really look at anyone's, my job is not to solve the case, right? I don't know how to do that. I'm not a forensic expert. I'm not a detective, but I have been an investigative journalist. And so my job is to put the theories that people have out there, tell you who said what, why, the facts that are facts, put those out there. That's what I'm doing for this and stimulating the conversation. So I've been kind of doing it with bite-sized facts. Yeah. Just trying to do one at a time and just go slowly through it, almost like it's a court case. And then just, and show fairly both sides. Like I'm not committed to Courtney did it. I'm not committed to anyone did it. Joe could be a liar. Danny Clit Wrench could be a liar. Tom Grant could be a liar, but I kind of doubt that because Tom Grant, I've just read so much of his stuff and his own story is pretty self-consistent.
Let me ask you this. What got you like so interested in all this?
Well, I was big into Nirvana when he died and then getting the files at 16, fully believing in them. And then later on, I had a weird phone call with Courtney Love that just kind of happened, which it was during her meth era. And it was a very strange, bizarre phone call that kind of reinforced what I was already thinking. And then I just honestly believe I've been fighting to bring back not Nirvana, but like the Nirvana thing that happened where we didn't have like corny shit anymore. And it was like the radio had like 9 Inch Nails and Smashing Pumpkins. And I mean, that obviously the radio has those things now, but it didn't before that. And it doesn't have the modern version of those things. It needs to. So like I think what's holding us back is once again, that false belief that Kurt, I think one of the things I will do is help prove that. And then I'm going to bring in the post everything movement where we get rid of genres and we become creative again. And we don't just follow boring trends and try to do our own version of a trend. We start doing things that are not a trend, creating our own trends. And that would be the end of genres. I think genres were fine. They were a way to describe music for a while. Then they became a marketing thing. And then with hashtags, it got drilled down even worse, where it's kind of like, okay, if you're not blackened Death Crust, I don't only listen to blackened Death Crust. And you have to sound exactly like the other blackened Death Crust bands. And if you even deviate in one thing about it, I'm done. I mean, that's what it became, which is like, and that made all the music like no one could afford to live anymore because your fan bases are these little atomized, weird little, like rock became destroyed by that. And like I've always booked shows, 5 different kind of bands on the show.
For sure.
My own band is a 5 different kinds of band in one band. I just get bored with the same shit over and over again. I've been pushing for this my whole life and it has not happened since then. And I feel like it's my job to force it to come back by continuing to beat the drum. And part of it is proving that Kurt Cobain was murdered so that people will not think rock is a buzzkill anymore. And also so that people won't keep killing themselves.
Let's kill.
And, a lot of people kill themselves. Yeah. A lot of people kill themselves because of Kurt to this day. He's a copycat creator, because of what he allegedly did that I don't think he did. So, a lot of motives there. I think it's a big part of, there's a reason why I got these files. There's a reason why I was also an investigative journalist with Ben Swan, where we got kicked off the internet because of the Epstein files, because my boss covered Pizzagate. We got kicked off the internet by the Biden administration. There's a reason why I'm the person that can talk about this and most people can't, because I was born to be that type of person who doesn't give a shit about the heat I have to take. You know what I mean? But so I feel like that's why. It's like something happened and it put it in my lap, and it's just one of those jobs I got to do.
Well, it's like, if you think about it, like, everything that was like printed, posted, like merch, of all kinds after Kurt died was that fucking black and white picture of Kurt. And it's like lots of fucking eyeliner, and it's all like, it's just like a very like downing, like
sad Kurt.
That
was the first sad boy Kurt appeared after death. Prior to death, it was smart ass Kurt. And that's what these young kids don't understand. They think Nirvana is way lamer than it really is. Like Nirvana is much sicker than they think. Most of them also haven't heard Bleach or Incesticide and don't know how heavy that Nirvana was.
For sure.
But you know what I mean? They were way sicker than people realize.
I just remember like going to like Stone Mountain, driving down from Clarksville.
Stone Mountain.
Driving to Stone Mountain, and you would have like the huge fucking wall posters of sad Kurt. But like before that, before death, you had Kurt with like crazy fucking sunglasses on and a white t-shirt with like Sharpie, something, fart, or like some slogan that he fucking came up with the day of the fucking photo shoot. And it was just like when he died, it, it affected me, and I was like bummed about it. I didn't go to Lollapalooza because of it. And just seeing that image of Kurt kind of like pushed me away from like listening to Nirvana, because I didn't want that like I didn't want that sadness, you know. It was like, it was, and yeah,
they have so few sad songs. It's like find 4 sad songs in their whole catalog. They're not really like too many of them. Most of them are hard or angry or, you know, maybe frustrated or something, but it just wasn't like, you know, it was more smart ass.
Yeah, for sure.
And like mocking and satirical and that kind of thing. And
yeah.
I love those kind of lyrics, and they're kind of out of style, like ever since that, in a weird way.
I think my favorite Kurt Cobain picture is the one with him on the bed with the cigarette, or he's sitting on something with a cigarette in his hand. And he has the acoustic guitar there, and he's just looking off. It's like a side profile of him. I still got that picture. I got that picture framed in my basement. I think I need to put it up somewhere. But that was one of my favorite pictures of Kurt Cobain. It's like he's contemplating something. He's like,
He was very pensive. And I think people use the fact that he's really thoughtful and kind of quiet, and they use that to make him seem more like suicidal or something. You know what I mean? Like those things have to go together. Like honestly, my brother committed suicide. You know what I mean? Like, don't clip that one out because I don't want his son to see it. But like, it's just like, it didn't, like, there was no signs.
Yeah.
There was not one sign. You know what I mean? Because like, that's, I think, how that works. Like, you don't have somebody who's like, you know, it's usually, they don't have outlets like drug addiction or whatever, you know, something. They don't have like these outlets they can use to make themselves feel, you know, to make themselves feel, whatever, a release or something. I mean, that's just what I believe. I mean, obviously there's more to it than that. And my own anecdote is not the only thing there is, but it just seems like there was a stereotype to him that it was built around.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
So let me ask you a question then. So Nirvana, we got Bleach, Nevermind, and Utero. Those are 3 albums right there. We're not going to put Incesticide in there. How would you rank those albums in order 1, 2, 3?
Man, I gotta go Nevermind, number 1. I would probably do Bleach 2. In Utero 3.
Okay.
Although In Utero is really good. It's just the problem is Bleach is extremely good.
Yeah.
And Nevermind is beyond good. Nevermind is it's like the Beatles catalog on one album or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a catalog of another band in one album. It's kind of like Siamese Dream, I think, is also one of those where it's like, and then Dirt.
Yeah.
And then Super Unknown. That was like in that era, those albums and Stoner Witch, like they were just all hitting on something right at that time, and there was no stopping any of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I saw this today on Twitter. It was somebody was like, do you have Gish or do you have Bleach? Who are you picking?
Bleach.
Yeah, I went Gish. I was also I as a lot of people, you know, obviously when Bleach came out, it was like what 88, 89 when it first came out. And then of course, you know, I got introduced like most of the people with Smells Like Teen Spirit. And then of course went backwards. And then I was a fan after that, you know. But I would probably go, I have a connection to In Utero because me and a friend of mine who has passed on, we drove out to California, picked that cassette up at a gas station in Arizona. And that was our fucking whole month-long trip in California. That's what we listened to almost damn near every day. So that album is just like embedded in me. I have memories with it. So I would go In Utero, Nevermind, Bleach. But
yeah, I could see that. I mean, In Utero is awesome.
Yeah. It's a great record. It's a great fucking record, man.
Nirvana did not have a bad one. Even their Fecal Matter was good, and even Incesticide. I honestly really love Incesticide. Right.
I think I asked you this last time, and you just said this, so I have to ask you again. There was a band, actually, both of y'all probably know this answer. There was a band in like 93, 94, 95-ish, maybe even later. Fecal Matter, okay?
Yeah, Nashville, yeah.
I have a flyer here, too, for Lucy's Record Shop, poor Fecal Matter still to this day. Whatever happened to that band? They were fucking great. I thought they were amazing, and then they just fell off.
I don't know. Were they a Murfreesboro band?
I don't know anything about them. I would just drive down.
They may have been a Nashville band that moved to Murfreesboro when they went to college or something. Because I remember them being active in Murfreesboro when I was at MTSU. I think
they were great, man.
I could be wrong about that.
I'll have to ask my my buddy Jason, who is about to put out this. I guess it's like a zine of like early like Nashville punk. That's the guy Jason. Yeah. He was in 9 Parts Devil, that like lounge, like almost like swing act that like the band that I was in at the time, Hoptown Tigers. We did a lot of shows, or we did a handful of shows with them at like 12th and Porter. But yeah.
So he was in that band.
Yeah. Huh. I'm pretty sure he knows about Fecal Matter for sure. I think he can either that or I'll reach out to Kat Taylor from fucking Fun Girls. He'll probably
Fun Girls. That was Fun Girls from Mount Pilot were quite entertaining back in the Lucy's days.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Barry, do you remember Loppy Bojami? Did I ask you that last time?
Mm-mm.
They played Clarksville and Nashville in like. I saw them in '93 for the first time at the Warehouse in Clarksville. The band called Loppy Bojami. I got their CD still. It's a fuck. I think honestly, it's like they were doing kind of like, I don't know. I'm gonna upload it and send it to you and let you listen to it. But it's wild. You would like it though, Barry.
I'll check it out. I didn't start going to like Lucy's until '94.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was like when I moved. I switched schools. I went to Overton. I buddied up with Brooke Duncan. Stick It To Me buttons and stuff. Her son's got this band World of Chaos. He's like,
they're great, dude.
Yeah, he's touring with his mom as a 12-year-old. Hey, he's gonna have it all figured out early. That's lucked out there.
Like every fucking show, because his mom knows everyone. He's up on fucking stage with every fucking band fucking singing every fucking song for every. I'm like, it's cool as shit. But I was gonna ask you because you went to MTSU. What year did you go there?
Like 98, 99, I think.
Okay. Cause I had some friends that went there. I had a couple of friends that went there as well who know Brooke. My buddy, I
knew Brooke from Overton High School.
Okay. Did you know what?
We were next to each other. Donegan, Duncan. You know what I'm saying? We were next to each other, assigned seats. Yeah. So that was like my first friend. And then, we went to shows at Lucy's and hung out at this chick Summer's house. And it was like,
cool.
We were like, she was funny when Look What I Did was really like when we were like touring heavily and on Combat Records and like in the hardcore fest circuit and shit. I saw Brooke on tour everywhere. Like I'd run into her in Boston, like we're playing some hardcore show and we'd be on some fest somewhere. Brooke would be with some other band as their merch girl or something. You know what I mean? I just ran into her in other cities probably like 8 or 9 times on tour, which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
Did you guys ever run into Love Is Red on the road?
Not on the road. We did play one show with them here. Now Love Is Red, I was kind of like being antagonistic to the hardcore trend at the time, but I do it from a position of punk and hardcore love, right?
Yeah.
So whenever the scene is getting trendy, I tend to fuck with shit. Now I wasn't ever like calling them out or doing anything with them, but I just was like back then making fun of the straight edge thing a lot. Like we were wearing white, all white, blonding our hairs, putting Y's on our hands, just like having shirts that said why poison filled. This was how we started off. Like we were just antagonizing everyone. Like me and Evan one time.
Yeah.
We went to a hardcore show at IndieNet and we printed out there was like a hardcore fashion website where you could learn how to dress like a hardcore kid. That's when, you see what I'm saying? I printed that out and then we've got cop outfits and we got a megaphone. And we went to a hardcore show and we started handing out violations for people not, you know what I mean? And at a certain point we were circled, like people trying to jump us, right? They were so mad, right? But me and Evan have like been in fights before. So like 10 of them, Evan's got some both me and Evan have really long arms. So, you know what I mean? Nobody ever swung on us, but they were surrounding us in anger after we did that. But, so Love is Red, was like, I don't know. I feel like they weren't necessarily feeling Look What I Did. We did play shows with them. We played a really epic show at Next Generation, one of our first shows, probably our third show ever, with Shun, Love is Red, and Not Waving But Drowning. And that's the show where Look What I Did all wore animal thongs underneath our outfits, and we busted out of our animal thongs. And boom, that was that. That was like our third show ever. And things were really looking up after that. But yeah, that was with Love is Red. I think those dudes are cool, and I enjoy their band. I think their band is cool. I just said, like, who I am. If you haven't figured it out by now, I have to fuck with people. That's just like what I have to do. And I hope that eventually the punk and hardcore scene will realize that I'm a part of it. One day, they still don't really treat me like I am, even though I got an album on Combat Records. Even though you know what I mean? Like, what in the fuck do I need to do here? But just because I don't like the trendy thing where we all do the exact same thing and we call people out that aren't doing it. You know what I mean? I just want to see change.
And you, do you know Perry? I mean, do you know Perry?
Yeah, Perry. Yeah, I'm good friends with Perry. Yeah, we toured with Ill Patriot. With him and Ryan were in that band.
Yeah.
Ryan Rado. But yeah, we toured with Ill Patriot. I trained Ryan Rado today. I train Ryan Rado right now, but in my fitness business. But I go way back with Perry for sure.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Ryan did one thing that nobody else has ever done in this podcast.
What's that?
He pissed in the middle of the podcast, right behind us, he stood next to the computer and pissed in a bucket. And kept talking. He goes, "Oh no, keep going." So
it's like, we can pause this, man. No, this is gold.
You gotta keep it rolling when it's rolling, man. I respect that.
Yeah, no, Ryan's cool, man. It's crazy because like I've known Ryan over the years, not as well as most people, but we've knew each other just because of the scene. And I never realized, we're all in the same age bracket. I thought for some reason I thought he was younger, like way younger. But no.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he's like, I think he's right around my age ish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm 47 for those keeping score at home, and a half, 47 and a half.
I'm this many, yeah, No, when I was going through, I found an old Look What I Did shirt when I was going through my shirts today. And then I was going through my CDs, and I was like, I think I have 2 Look What I Did CDs. I do not. I only have one, the first one, and I haven't.
My first time, or
yes, my first time. That one, I loved. That cover. I was like, it was pink. It was. I can't. I know is it a chick or a dude on the bed?
It's ambiguous, but it's a chick because the way she's handling her goods.
Yeah.
It'd be appropriate for a chick. But yeah, she's strumming the clitor while she's perusing the liner notes of the CD.
Yeah. She stopped on a picture of you. That's what it was. She's like, oh yeah.
Maybe that's what. There's only a smiley face in there and some cartoonified pictures, but she found that arousing, according to the artist that drew it.
Well, Barry, this podcast has changed a little bit since you were on it last time. As you can see, I have another partner in crime on this show.
Yo.
And we like to do around this time, we like to do what's called 7 with 7. And it's 7 questions with Eric 7. There's no right, no wrong answers. Just whatever comes off the top of your dome. You ready to play?
Dome is ready.
All right. 7 random questions. Nothing pertaining to the topic that we spoke on earlier. But yeah, I think these should be fun. So question number 1. You can host a game show. What game show would that be?
If I was to host a game show, probably Double Dare.
Nice.
Ooh, that's good.
I go for Mark Summers, man. Goop some people up.
There's there's a band called Physical Challenge. They're out of Portland, Oregon. They're actually called Double Dare's Physical Challenge. But what they should have called themselves was Mark Summers.
Yeah.
But they're called Physical Challenge. They're great. They're a hardcore band, but
Yeah. Thanks to Double Dare, I halfway did my fucking homework, after school, because I'd get home, I'd watch fucking Nickelodeon, and then after Nickelodeon, I'd watch fucking Dial MTV. all while trying to do my fucking homework, you know? And
remember that one game part on Double Dare? It's like a big old fucking ear with like green wax.
Oh,
and shit.
yeah.
You're to get the fucking flag out and shit. I'm like,
everything was nasty back then. Like you can't do that on television.
Oh, dude, you can't do that. Fuck yeah.
Alanis Morissette was on that weird ass.
Fuck yeah.
What was it you say and you get gooped? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I will add in the gloop on everybody now in this video.
All right. Question number 2. What cartoon character represents you the most?
Cartoon character.
Yeah.
I feel like cartoon characters do me better than other things. You know, like a Looney Tune would not be too far off where I'm rolling. But I don't know exactly which one because they're all kind of narrow in their archetypes. Let me think about that. This is a very hard question.
I'm going to go Pepe Le Pew for myself.
Nice.
Pepe Le Pew? You gotta be a serious lover boy. You gotta be like all over the ladies. I respect Pepe's game, man. Pepe is not playing around, dude. He is very into the lady.
Yeah,
he's really into her.
Didn't they pull Pepe Le Pew from the
Yeah, because they were saying he was rapey. Like things got out of control, man. Like that's not rapey. He was, you know, it's.
I love you, Pepe Le Pew. That was his thing, man.
But yeah, okay. That said, I'm gonna go with Roadrunner. Actually, I do get called Roadrunner in basketball because I have a short stride, but I have like long legs and a short, fast stride. But Roadrunner, I feel like that's me. I'm just on the loose like that.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be an arrogant slowpoke Rodriguez?
Yeah. The kitty cat took all my cheese. All right. Number 3 is the easy one. BMX or skateboard?
I can't do either one well, so I would say BMX.
Yeah.
Just because I can ride a bike. Skateboarding, I did not do, or riding bikes a lot, to be honest. I'm kind of built terribly for it. I have really long limbs. And But skating I never did. It's funny, like when I moved to LA, people thought I was a skater and stuff or a surfer, which I'd never done that in my life. And then and they also thought I was from the country. Jeez. When like I'm from Nashville, man. Like, do people wear shoes where you're from? I'm like, there's heroin needles on the ground. Like I live in the city, like kind of the hood of the city. Like
all right.
Eric. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
All right. Question number 4. Does thunder only happen when it's raining?
No.
Nice. Yes. That is
definitely not.
Yeah, because it's not raining right now, and I'm hearing thunder outside my window.
Nice.
Yeah, you can have heat, lightning, and heat thunder.
Dude, up here in Buffalo, we have thunder snow. It's fucking freaky. That's dude.
Badass.
Yeah.
Thunder snow.
Yeah.
It's like something they would like the news would use to like scare the shit out of people and sell ratings.
Dude, we had it once when I was still in Nashville, and I'll never forget. I was driving back from PJ and Jeff's house back to Oak Grove where I was living with my parents.
Which PJ?
PJ starts with a K.
Kinzer? Yeah, I went to college with him.
Nice. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yet another roll dog.
Nice. But yeah, dude, I'm fucking driving home, driving back to Oak Grove from Nashville, and I'm like right over there by like 100 Oaks and all that shit, like that interstate system, and fucking thunder, and it just starts fucking snowing. I'm like looking in my rearview mirror thinking like it's the fucking 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are like right behind me coming to fucking
Probably looks like it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh yeah, thunder snow, it's a real thing.
All right.
All right. Question number 5. I got this from my Saturday movie that I watched this past weekend.
I know what that was.
Yeah. Which ex-president would you want to be in the movie Point Break?
Which ones are in it?
We have LBJ, Carter, Nixon, and Reagan.
Now, are these just the masks that you wear?
Yeah, just the mask. Yeah. Or you could be another one. Yeah.
Well, if I'm wearing a mask, I'm trying to be menacing. I'd probably go with LBJ. You know what I mean? But I don't know. The masks are all kind of the same because you're just like wearing them. Now, if it was to be one of them, being any president would be awful. But
I'm gonna go with Nixon, and we just lost Eric.
Where'd he go?
Bye, Eric. Well,
what if the storm got him?
No, he's in Buffalo.
Oh,
yeah, he's in Buffalo, and then I'm in Clarksville, and then you're in Nashville.
He doesn't have a storm.
Nope. There he is. He's back.
He's back.
Hey, he's back.
In action.
Yeah, I just got visited by the ghost of Patrick Swayze. You know, he was
okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Yeah, that hasn't happened in a long time. That's what she said.
No. Hey-o. That's what I say. No.
Yeah.
It normally isn't like this.
All right. Question number 6. You're invited to Pee-wee's Playhouse. Pee-wee says you can take one thing from the Playhouse. What are you taking?
Fuck it, cherry, man.
Nice.
Oh shit!
Go big or go home,
that.
man.
Yeah, I'm going all in.
I went zombie.
Yeah,
zombie.
Yeah. I was thinking zombie too, man. Yeah.
Wait, does he do wishes and shit?
Yeah.
Oh man, I blew it. I blew it with the chair. Still, it's a sick chair. He talks.
Yeah,
dude.
Sure.
He's gigantic.
Yeah. All right. And the last question number 7. You got Bill and Ted's phone booth, and you can dial up the premiere of any movie from back in time. Which movie are you going back to see?
At the premiere?
At the premiere.
Now, is that with the people that were starring in the movie?
Or just a random theater
or just a random theater. Okay.
Yes.
That changes the dynamic.
Yeah.
Because that would be a networking opportunity, and it would be less about the movie.
For sure.
I'd be like, who's in the movie? Because like I'm at this.
Well,
then it would probably be something with a lot of bands on it or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like music related movie. But yeah, otherwise I would say, now see, as far as a movie buff goes, I am the opposite of a movie buff. I have seen some movies, 20 or so. But that said, the ones I've watched over and over again are only Office Space, Meet the Feebles.
Nice.
I've watched.
That's the second time it's been announced on here show.
And then Dark Crystal.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Nice.
So it'd be one of those 3 because those are like the only movies I've really paid attention to.
Right on.
I had a broken attention span before TikTok and shit came out. It was already broke before the internet came out. Yeah, now it's even worse. But movies were out of my attention span level by 16 in the 90s.
Nice. Yeah. I was talking to my wife about that question before while I was writing them down, and she was like, well, what movie would you have wanted to go see? And I mean, I've always gone to movies, and one that like I saw Empire Strikes Back in the theater, kind of remember it, saw Jedi in the theaters and cried twice because fucking Yoda and fucking Darth Vader die. But if I could go back know what I'm watching to, seeing Star Wars, I would probably lose my shit, because that everyone was pretty much losing their shit in the theaters when that movie came out. And
I did see Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in the theater.
Yeah.
When they came out.
Yeah.
People took me to movies when I was a kid, and then I was subjected to them. Particularly my grandmother. Not that it was bad. I mean, I like the experiences with my grandma, but it was a lot of movies, and my attention span just never was cut out for them. Even Star Wars. I mean, I kind of like the old Star Wars.
Yeah.
They definitely broke it with those new CGI ones. That I didn't follow them past the first 3 films, which are, I guess, 4, 5, and 6 in the series or whatever. And then they broke all the, I used to read the little books when I was a kid, and then they broke all the books with the new movies, and it just kind of was like, okay, this has become so corporate. It's not what it is anymore.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
How to ruin the Holy Trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. Add a bunch of shit that doesn't make any sense to it.
Yeah.
So Barry, our guest last week gave us 2 questions. We asked you 2 questions from the previous guest, and we're gonna have you give us 2 questions for the next guest. So our guest last week wants you to know 2 questions. 1, what show did you see that changed you just changed your music, like what you knew you wanted, like you wanted to be in a band after seeing this band?
I knew I wanted to be in a band before I saw a band live.
Okay.
But I would say, the first band I saw was Aerosmith, and the second one I saw was Alice in Chains opening for Ozzy, and it was prime, about to blow up Alice in Chains. I saw a lot of shit, real serious shit right away. So I was already pretty locked in. But then I would say a game-changing show that I saw that shattered me a little bit was Today Is the Day at Lucy's.
Nice.
That one was I was scared of that show. I was scared, and I didn't like it.
Who was on that show?
I don't remember, but I know it would have been when they had the Mastodon version of the lineup.
I think I have that flyer in my room.
The Lucy's show from that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, and I'll see if it's the same one. It's I think I do have that flyer. I don't know.
It'd be 94-ish, maybe 95. But seeing them, I remember Joey Fuller got the record. I'm pretty sure he got In the Eyes of God. And I think that's what they were touring on. And I remember we would play the record later, and I got really into it later. It was just when I first saw it, I was afraid. And honestly, I kind of wanted to create that in people when they saw my own band. I wanted people to have a bad reaction to it, but an overwhelmed reaction, and then to come back to it. That's kind of an effect I wanted to have with Look What I Did. Maybe not in the same way as Today's the Day, because Today's the Day is just so dark and brutal and brooding and bleak, which Look What I Did is not that. Look What I Did is anxious and frenetic, but I just wanted it to be too much for people, and then they would think about it and come back to it. You know what I mean? But Today's the Day kind of sent me on that path, because they do that. They did that to me. It was just really scarring in a way to see it.
Okay. All right. I've never got to see them live.
Really? We played with them once.
Yeah.
That's one of the sick bands we got to play.
Look What I Did, or Point of You?
Look What I Did.
Yeah.
It was more recent. It was 2010. I want to say.
Nice.
I played with them. We also got to play with Melt Banana.
Oh, fuck yeah. I forgot about those dudes, man.
Melt Banana.
Page 99.
Page 99 is sick. We didn't get to play with them.
Who was one band that you guys used to always play with, though? Did Sleepy Time Gorilla or whatever? What was that band called?
We're the first band to bring them to Nashville, and we played with them on that show. And they wrote a song in our practice space. But yeah, Sleepy Time. Yeah, we had a show with Sleepy Time. Now that one, some of it's on the internet. That one, I ended up getting a concussion at the end of the show because me and Miles got in a fight, and I fell off stage and I cracked my head on the Next Generation concrete floor. That's one of the hardest concussions I've had. Top 10, but I've had a lot of concussions. But that one was we had to play before sleepy time. That video is on the internet of our performance that night. I was extremely unhinged. That's why me and Miles got in a fight. I was like, just, I tripped Chris while he was playing. He didn't miss a note. I ripped my shirt off and threw it in Miles's face while he was playing drums, and it's covering his face, and I can't play drums. I was just a menace, and I don't understand why I was being like that. Looking back, I was in a bad mood for some reason. And I don't remember why, because that was an awesome day and an awesome show. Every memory I had was awesome, but then I forgot whatever that part was because of the concussion. So, but yeah, that was a big show.
And the second question is, what is your shittiest tattoo?
I have a cover up underneath this Caligula tattoo here. That was ABS. That when my grandfather died, and I was 16, I went to a tattoo shop and illegally got me a tattoo that was his initials, and I didn't really think about it. And it was ABS, which is Azelberry Spears. I mean, he was a rocket scientist who worked on the Saturn V missile. I mean, the rocket, also the Redstone missile, the ones that put up all the satellites and manned space flights. Wow. But his initials were ABS, and it was on my bicep. So it just looked like I had written abs or anti-lock brake system or absolute value or something else that ABS would mean on my arm. So it was kind of like, people would be like, why is abs on your arm? So eventually I covered that one up. I'll find a better tribute. I was 16, get me an illegal tattoo. So it was what it was. The rest of them I don't really hate. I have a homemade tattoo. Do y'all know Ricky Pence, Ricky High Life, the champagne of dudes? We did that one.
Nice.
Like an India ink and a piercing needle, on the couch when shouldn't have done that, but I did do that. I don't hate that one. It still looks good, in my opinion, for a jailhouse type deal. I mean, I wasn't in jail that day, but you know what I mean?
We had Stuck Lucky on a couple months ago, man, and they were.
Those are my dudes. We played shows with Stuck Lucky over the course of our entire career. They're older than Look What I Did somehow.
Yeah, by a year, I think. By a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a year older.
Yeah.
But man, they have fucking stories of the ass from their fucking home that the Stuck Lucky house they all used to live in or whatever.
Like two of them in Murfreesboro. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Good old Stuck Lucky, man.
Talking about behind Gentleman Gyms or one of those places. One of the dudes in the middle of the night just fucking spray painted Stuck Lucky real fucking big on the fucking wall.
666. Yeah.
Stuck Lucky 666 and shit. Yeah.
Wow. Them dudes are cool, man. We played with them not that long ago. I think we played with them on something maybe it was the show we did with HR from Bad Brains.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Maybe that was it. I'm not sure, but I think
how'd he turn out at that show?
Himself?
Yeah. Did he play?
Yeah, sort of. He sat down and he was heavily supported. I got to go meet him backstage and it was very strange. I go back there, no one got to meet him. It was not allowed. He was not allowed to, no one was around to talk to him or whatever. I go back there and I'm just aggressive, man. That's just my personality. I come up, I'm sticking my hand up to grab his hands. I'm trying to grab his hand and he's he Matrix dodged my fucking hand, dude. You know, and then the guy around him just kind of vibe me okay, this is not how this works. And then so I'm okay. And so then I just nodded. You know what I mean? I was nice to meet you, sir. And then I sort of looked at him in the eyes for a minute and he looked me in the eyes for a minute. And then he didn't say, he was somewhat responsive and gave me a warm look in the eyes. I did not speak and he did not allow me to touch his hand. And that was my, what do you call that? My, audience with HR from Bad Brains.
Yeah.
Guerrilla Warfare opened up for HR once at the Muse. And if my memory is correct, and it probably is not because I was heavy.
He was probably a little better coherence back then, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't think he even played, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think he had it, but he was in a chair at that point. But I don't think he played that show. I think something went down and he ended up not playing. But I need to find out for sure. So if anybody was at the HR show at the Muse, what Guerrilla Warfare played, did an HR play? Let me know. So,
I saw Soul Brains one time. Me and Evan went out afterwards, and we were running the clubs that night, and we saw HR like outside of that strip club that used to be on. I mean, he was in a pimped out suit, and he was in the partying hard in the strip club, and he was much more coherent in those days. That's when Soul Brains was still kind of like a real band.
Did either one of you guys watch that documentary Finding Joseph? Oh, dude. It's a documentary about HR. It's called Finding Joseph 1 or Finding Joseph I. I watched it back in like 2019. And it was on Amazon Prime at the time. But it definitely shows you where he is now. And like who he's been for these last couple of years. And I mean it's a great fucking watch for sure. Yeah.
Check it out. So Barry, I need 2 questions for you for our next guest.
2 questions. Okay. 2 questions. I would say, that's a very interesting proposition. To think of 2 questions. I would say, let me get into some categories here. We'll do one artistic probing question.
Okay.
That probes them in an artistic fashion, since they'll probably be artistic people. So let's say, what are your favorite subject matters for artistic works, whether that be music, movies, whatever it is? We'll start with that.
All right.
And then we'll probe philosophically ask them, do they believe they have a free will?
Okay.
We'll try those. Those will get you some good stuff rolling.
And then they're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" No. We've had some wild. We had some interesting ones. What was the one that it was a random one and
Are you talking about the one that the lead singer of Hedge asked?
Yeah, what was that? What was that?
If you could live as a vegetable, what vegetable would that be?
I'm like, what?
Eggplant, dog. All day, dog. All day. Got to at least have a dick, man. Got to at least have a dick.
Yeah.
That's where I'm starting my negotiations.
Man, you said free will, and I guess it's just like living so close to fucking Canada now. I've got fucking Rush just fucking playing in my head right now, man. I choose free will,
Oh yeah.
It's the national anthem of Canada.
Canada,
Yeah. There's gonna be a park for Neil that's gonna be constructed up in St. Catharines, which is a fucking bomb ass city in southern Ontario. My wife and I like to go up to it because
is that near Ontario is where Toronto is, right?
Yeah. So
we toured with Ion Dissonance. They were from Quebec.
Quebec.
They were
that
French.
band is so good.
They talk really. They're like this close to you when they talk. You know what I mean? They're like, I'm not talking shit. There's like some of the coolest dudes ever Yeah, that was one of the funnest tours ever. It was the Animosity also.
Yeah. But yeah, there's going to be the Neil Peart Memorial in St. Catharines, Ontario. Stoked.
Pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
He's one of the better drummers there ever was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You said that you toured there with Iron Dissidents and Animosity. Was Evan in Animosity at the time?
No, it was
Look What I Did.
What's his name? He's in Suicide Silence after. Shit. You know who you are. If you hadn't asked me, I would have known because he is my friend. But you know what I mean? Yeah, that but Evan joined after, which is a weird coincidence because Evan had a lot of weird coincidences with me where, okay, the day Evan came to town with Reflux in LA when I lived there. And I already knew Michael Keane and the Faceless from playing at the Cobalt Cafe. And like, we went up there and I'm pretty sure Faceless may have opened that show. And then that was when they met Ash, right? I remember that happening in front of my eyes. I remember that was like Tosin and Evan and Ash and Vinny, were in Reflux. And so like, there's all these little, Evan wound up in the Faceless, even though the Faceless to me were like teenagers that I knew from the Valley and Evan I knew from being a teenager in Nashville. And then he joins Animosity, which later on, which we were on tour with at a point in time. Now, granted, those are all because we all knew Ash, from Sumerian, but that's just a funny small world how that. Now Evan met through Ash coming through town and Reflux having played possibly with Submethod.
Yeah,
and then that's what probably happened.
I forgot. I always forget he was in Submethod because I have pictures of Evan in Submethod here in Clarksville when they were playing Lowboy's comeback show when Lowboy came back from Sacramento to play here. And
I'm pretty sure Evan played on that album too, the second album of theirs.
Really?
I think.
I know. Taken Under. We opened up for Reflux and the Judith Cradle at the Muse one time. And
that may have been the tour that went to LA that I'm talking about. Would that have been like 2002 or 1 or something?
Yeah, early on, yeah. It was right when we were getting into the Nashville area back then. But yeah, those are good times back in the day. But Barry, I know it's getting late, man, and I'm glad you came on and talked about some Kurt Cobain.
Before we go, we got to talk about that 12-volt shows. We didn't talk about it.
Yeah. So 12-volt Negative Earth has gone back together. It's the OG lineup for this show. It's Look What I Did, Lowboy also coming back. Who else is on the show?
Lowboy, Look What I Did, 12-volt. 3 bands.
Okay.
Simple lineup. Vinyl Lounge is going to be a hell of a night. Lowboy is already back rolling and killing. The videos I've seen are back basically rolling. And then 12-volt, I think they were kind of almost underrated because they were pre-internet. And I mean, they were really they were kind of in that sort of like maybe Life of Agony, Nothing Face kind of world where it was like that more underground kind of sound. And I feel like, you know what I mean? They were really kind of an underground alternative metal band. I think the new metal movement kind of absorbed a lot of that shit in a way that didn't really properly give it the breathing room that it really was. They were a really underground, really, really heavy ass band. You know what I mean?
They were really good.
Really good.
I got the Baby Steps at some show at 328. They're out front and they were giving out Baby Steps. And I'm like, damn, they're just giving out the CD. Like, I didn't know it. And it's like, oh, okay. And that CD, I still have it. It's still a fucking solid album. They're great musicians, man. Everybody has done things. I mean, I know you did the Faith No More project with what's the singer's name?
Yeah, Jason Carroll. Yeah, and we had actually members of Lowboy, 12-volt, Submethod in that Faith No More tribute band we did. And there's a way of looking at the show on the 8th that it's kind of like a lot of the relationship we had through that band is kind of probably how that show ended up being the lineup that it is in a way. I mean, I think there was some effort to try and get like Shun and Submethod on there, and that would have been cool. but it wasn't really possible, I think, is the way that worked out. And so look what I did. Availability is the best ability. So we're on that motherfucker instead. But you know what I mean? We got some special surprises. And while we weren't exactly a part of that time, Point of View kind of was. And I'm a little later than 12 Volt when it comes to the days. I was like more like a kid coming up when they were kind of killing. But I think we fit on the night, and we were going to do some special stuff for the night that we're not going to do any other time. That wouldn't be appropriate to any other show. That'll be some really fan favorite stuff for the people that are there for the night, not just for us. You know what I mean? We got some cool stuff planned, but yeah, everybody needs to come to that Vinyl Lounge, sell that mother out. I mean, it's going to sell out. And if you're not there, you're really not an old school Nashville guy. Like I mean, the truth is you probably won't know about these bands if you're not an old school Nashville person, because this is pre-internet Nashville before all the people moved here. But if you want to look like a new Nashville, do not show up. That's how you'll do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Vinyl Lounge is a great fucking venue too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's nice. It's nice in there. I did I played there once. Unfortunately, it was for John Wysocki from Stained. He was a buddy of mine, and we played a Michael Jackson cover before and stuff. And so they asked me to come out and sing a Stained song in his honor. But yeah, we did that at Vinyl Lounge, and that was a great night. I mean, the sound is marvelous. I mean, the sound there is going to be really good. You can be able to hear the vocals nice and clear.
Yeah. And what was a band that he was in when he passed? That band he was jamming with in Nashville before he died.
Wait a minute. Which one are you talking about? Wait, who are we talking about again? Remind me. I just blanked.
The drummer from Stained.
Oh, drummer from Stained. Yes. Okay. No. Yes. John Wysocki from Stained. Yes. Lydia's Castle.
Lydia's Castle. Yeah.
They're kind of like about to like come back out with a new drummer and put out the album that he worked on. So I would encourage people to go support Lydia's Castle's new album. Just to, if you were a fan of John or Stained, like that would be the best place that was what his energy was going into when he unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, he was a super nice guy, man. Super rad dude. Because like I say, when they would play at the Warehouse, man, he was cool. I talked to him.
He has a fucking groove to him too. He could really play. He's a great drummer. He's like, he hits pretty hard, and he's like really, really groove. Like his groove is really tight. And, the Lydia's Castle guitar player is extremely good. And like, he played with us on that Michael Jackson. We did like the Alien Ant Farm version of the Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
like,
I remember seeing that video
version of Smooth Criminal. Yeah. And they did this like weird little like pickup before it came in. And they just like were like, hey, let's do it. It was like their ability to do like a weird little like rhythmic pickup to come in.
That's cool.
Was pretty advanced for the fact we were doing. I mean, they play together all ongoingly, but it was impressive to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cool when you can see people that have been working together. They can vibe off each other. They know what they're going to do next or something. Is that how you and everybody in Look What I Did is? Like y'all just like
Look What I Did is psychic. Like we could play an entire album that we improvised right there in the spot, and you would think it was like an album we had written before. You could just tell us. You could tell us like which genre we have to pretend to be for each of the songs, and we could convince you that. Like we haven't ever done that. We would be the best jam band if we ever did it, because we just most of the way we develop songs is just by jamming in a room forever until we get something and arguing about it. And so we spent a lot of time playing and different stuff. And yeah, Look What I Did would be, we got some psychic, connection. And they put up with all of my horse shit. I'm like one of the more difficult, people to deal with on stage. I undermine a lot of the work people are doing just to sound good by accident through my shenanigans. But I remember I was getting ready to play a cover night, that grunge night that the Ivans put on. And there was like some celebrity guys, like, the bass player from like Kane Brown, and like, all the guys were like pretty celebrity'd out compared to me. And like, I remember I'm about to come out there. I don't really know any of them. And I'm like, hey, I get pretty crazy out there, so sorry in advance. Normally when I say that, the musician looks at me kind of like, maybe that's. But they look kind of scared and horrified. I don't know. They were like, "What? What does that mean?" And then I don't know. I did do some shenanigans, and then the ones that were the most nervous looking didn't share it. So I don't know if they didn't feel what I was up to, but the crowd did. So that's all. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I will throw you under the bus if it gets us over on the crowd. Sorry. Okay. I'll throw myself under the bus too. So it is
literally.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. If there's a bus, I'd throw myself under it for views.
For views, yeah. You gotta make sure someone's filming you.
Not online views, in-person views.
You gotta stay up with the.
Gotta save it for the pay-per-view, as they say in wrestling.
Yeah.
You gotta save for the Patreon. You gotta save for the Patreon.
Save it for the Patreon.
Yep.
Well, Eric, you got anything else?
Nah, man. I know what I'm doing tomorrow while at work, while I should be working, is just, I'm fucking gonna be listening to some fucking some theories. So
running some theories, man.
Some hybrid theories.
After my sports talk radio, because I still listen to the Nashville guys in the morning, and even being up here in Buffalo, and then
still sticking to your Nashville sports.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still root for the Preds, but I mean, the city's going crazy right now for the Sabres. So yeah, I'm on that wagon. But no, I think I'm good, man.
Bear, we should work out something like maybe the week or two before that show, and maybe get somebody from every band on, and we can do an episode about the show.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I know Charles would love to be on again.
Dude.
You and Charles.
Yeah.
We can't even go there. We gotta stop. We'll open up another can of worms.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta go to bed.
Oh yeah, it's 10 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah, I've known old
the butt crack of dawn up there in the New York, man. New York.
Yep. I've known Charles since I was in the 6th grade. So yeah.
Your brother, what was it? Polyester dream? No,
no. Suede Tattoo was
That was a hair metal band.
Yeah. Nah, dude, they weren't hair metal. It was like the early fringes of like grunge, I guess you could call it. Yeah. A lot of Bang Tango. They did some Doors covers, and so they were.
I like how you said Bang Tango. I like how you said Bang Tango, the Doors, early grunge stuff.
that is like around the fucking time that they were,
I know, I'm just fucking with you. That's
the album called 10 was about to fucking drop, and
I just like how you said it, like early grunge stuff.
Fuck off.
The Doors. All right. Anyway. All right, guys. Peace and chicken grease, or whatever they say.
Post everything.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
We're in the post everything era.
Whoa! What is up? It's a recap.
The recap. It's another round with Attitude in 7.
Anywho, so you're gonna go and listen to a lot of conspiracies tomorrow?
Yeah.
Theories?
Yeah.
You're gonna go down the rabbit hole, and then I'm gonna start seeing you. Well, you're gonna be like, hey man, how do you make a reel? And then I'll have to explain to you how to make a reel. And then you're gonna be posting all these reels of you, be like, so I feel like,
I mean, I've thought since day one, Courtney was behind it.
Oh yeah, we should have said that, because I thought it too. But we all.
But I mean, my wife absolutely loves Courtney Love, and
I love Courtney Love.
She loves Hole. But I mean, I think the writing has been on the fucking wall since day one. She killed him, or she had him killed, and fucking she became a fucking megastar.
Yep. And what were the rumors? I mean, I love Hole. I mean, I think they're a great band.
Yeah.
All the stuff that they've released even later, and then her solo record, great stuff.
Yeah.
But didn't they say Billy Corgan or Kurt Cobain wrote Live Through This? right? Or is that what the rumors were? There's rumors about that or something.
Something like that. But I mean, I know, like,
I'll tell you.
well, did Billy, did he write or co-write Malibu?
Oh, that's right. On that record, yeah. He did help
yeah.
write it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll say Live Through This is a perfect record in my opinion.
I don't think I've listened to it. I mean,
start to finish.
Yeah.
I love it, man. It's start to finish, great album.
Yeah, they're like I told you the other night, I haven't listened to the entire, I mean, I haven't sat down and listened to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by Smashing Pumpkins because I kind of fell off of Smashing Pumpkins after Siamese Dreams.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that none of that music was good. I mean, because I like the fucking singles, but streaming wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
And I was paying for what I wanted to listen to. So that's where I was.
I got the box set up here, of the singles, in that little the little spiral box. It's the Infinite Sadness singles, and it's all the singles. And there's 6 CDs in there, 5 CDs, and each CD has 5 songs on there.
Yeah.
Cool.
One thing that I will point out that really fucking stuck with me.
Okay. Stuck lucky
is that, the whole, they were painting Kurt to be this sad, mopey bastard after he passed with what they were fucking, and like I said, I was walking into fucking Sound Shop, Stone Mountain, fucking.
No, you're right. You're right.
Any place that sold, rock, merch. And if it was Kurt Cobain, it was
sad,
that black and white, and I mean, it kind of, pushed me away. I was like, cause I didn't want that feeling. And, I mean, I listened to Nevermind the other day at work and I was just like, God damn, some great fucking songs and not just the fucking singles. I mean, it's like, holy shit. Am I still listening to Nevermind? Oh yeah, I am,
album, great album.
Yeah. So
sometimes you just got to go back and revisit things or listen to them again. Like I always say, sometimes music finds you at a different part of your life than others, and it hits you differently. So, I mean,
for sure.
So, good times. I had fun.
Yeah, dude.
I know it's late for you. I appreciate you sticking with us. And you got next week you'll be about 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah, wish me luck.
I've been supposed to. I never did mine. I just did it in the mail.
Yeah.
Which is really awkward too, because you got to play with your poop like you're like 4. Well, I don't know if you're 4 playing with your poop. Probably not.
Probably not.
I hope not. I was, but we won't go there. Okay. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. Anyway, who did
Russ was listening to Dookie and he was playing with Dookie. Like I said, I was a fan of the Beatles first. I mean, I dig the shit out of the fucking Stones. I mean, I think that's like one of the best things of watching fucking Scorsese movies is he picks like some of the best fucking Rolling Stone songs to put in an epic scene. But I mean, the Rubber Soul album is probably my favorite Beatles record. And I love, teen, pop like Beatles, the I Want to Hold Your Hand and She Loves You. Yeah. I mean, I've always been, a melodic fan of music. So I think that's why I was drawn more to the Beatles. And I think I'm pretty sure my parents are more Beatles first than Rolling Stones, but they like both. I know my dad likes both. So but yeah,
I wasn't brought up with the Beatles. In the collection there was never any Beatles, and I think there were only I think we had Sticky Fingers by Rolling Stones.
Okay,
and I still got 2 of them in there. It's a greatest hits, but it's it looks like a stop sign. And
nice. Okay,
I got 2 of those, but and I just got those from the collections that I got inherited from my parents.
But
Beatles. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I get it, I understand, but it's just I couldn't do. I mean, I like George Harrison as my and my just like my buddy Pat said on the comment. He said, you know, George Harrison over everybody, and I'm like, I'm a Harrison fan. He's the best Beatle in my opinion.
He was one of the fucking traveling Wilburys, man. And if you think of that fucking
need we say
lineup,
more?
yeah, you had fucking Bob Dylan, fucking Roy Orbison, Tom Petty, George, fucking now I can't think of his name.
I love that guy. Oh, all right. Well, that was an episode of the You Got a Podcast. I appreciate everybody sticking around. Eric, good luck and peace. Hey, Eric, do you have anything you want to say?
I think the ghost is telling me it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, I already said, all right, I guess bye, Eric, and I'm by myself. And thanks for checking us out. Later, guys.
I was alone. I was all by myself.
All by myself.
Okay. All right, go Sabres.